ATOTO S8 Ultra promises flagship car stereo brains at a mid-range price. Either we've reached the point where aftermarket finally feels OEM plus, or it's another feature-stuffed headache waiting to happen. On paper, it's wild. Octa-core processor, up to 6 GB RAM and 128 GB storage, a 1280x720 QLED display, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Built-in 4G data, dual Bluetooth 5.0, a Sirius DSP with time alignment and a 32-band EQ, 4V pre-outs, HD camera inputs, and 2-second quick boot. Sounds criminally generous, right? But here's the thing, not all specs translate to the road. Here's what caught my attention after living with it in my daily for 2 solid weeks, including highway trips and city stop-and-go. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 2 weeks of testing. What this unit claims to do is simple. Replace your stock radio with a modern, fast, all-in-one head unit that feels like an OEM system with more power. The key promises you'll see everywhere are wireless CarPlay and Android Auto that just works 2-second quick boot so music is playing by the time your seatbelt clicks, audiophile-grade DSP, and 4V pre-outs for clean, powerful sound, built-in 4G and dual-band Wi-Fi for always-on apps. Sounds impressive, right? Pretty bold claims for the price range, but here's where things get interesting once you actually drive with it. Reality check. They claim a 2-second quick boot. What you actually get is 2 seconds from sleep, not from a true cold start. Here's why, like most Android units, it goes into a low-power standby if your car was off briefly. After an overnight battery-saving shutdown, my cold boots averaged 22-28 seconds before CarPlay connected. Not a deal-breaker, but let's be real about what that 2 seconds means. They claim wireless CarPlay and Android Auto that just works. What you actually get is 90% reliable, with the last 10% being temperamental. Evidence: over 14 days, I logged 3 random wireless CarPlay dropouts on an iPhone 13 Pro and 1 on a Pixel 7 with Android Auto, each under heavy navigation plus Spotify usage. Reconnecting took 10-20 seconds. Wired mode was rock solid. The plot twist: dual Bluetooth helps accessories, but your phone still fights for RF in congested areas. They claim 4V pre-outs and powerful built-in amplification. What you actually get is clean signal for the price, but physics still applies. Built-in amp power is limited by the 12V rail inside your dash. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible. Any in-dash unit claiming 4x45 WRMS without an external amp is fantasy. My SPL and voltage tests showed about 1722 WRMS per channel at 4 ohms before noticeable distortion. The pre-outs measured closer to 3.2-3.6 V on peaks, which is good, but not a true flat 4V with the internal DSP and time alignment, though staging improved dramatically versus stock. They claim a 1280x720 QLED display that's sunlight ready. Reality: the panel is sharp and colors pop, but direct noon sun washes it enough that you'll crank brightness. Evidence: in a hatchback with a shallow dashboard, reflections off the glass made the glossy screen act like a mirror. A matte protector helped. Off-axis viewing is better than cheap IPS units, but not class-leading. They claim built-in 4G keeps apps alive. Reality: yes, data works, but carrier support matters. The module and supported bands lean GSM, think AT&T T-Mobile in the US. Verizon isn't reliably supported. If you're outside those bands, tether to your phone instead. Also, cellular standby added about 0.10.2 parasitic draw in my sleep tests. Fine if you drive regularly, but consider your battery health. They claim quick, flagship-grade performance. Reality: the octa-core CPU and bigger RAM make the UI snappy compared to budget units. App switching is fast. But heavy tasks: wireless CarPlay plus recording from a 720p dash cam input, introduced occasional micro stutters. Manage expectations: this isn't a modern smartphone CPU. Here's where things get interesting. ATOTO's firmware updates are frequent and actually fix stuff. I flashed a recent build that improved Bluetooth stability and reduced a weird pop on ignition. But wait, there's more. Radio tuner sensitivity is just okay. If FM is your life, a Sony XAVX series or Alpine ILX tends to pull faint stations better in my experience. Sound quality: the DSP is the headline act. You get time alignment per channel, a dense EQ, think 32 bands and proper crossovers. With a modest 4-channel amp and components, I dialed in a surprisingly cohesive stage. Versus a Pioneer DMH-W4660NAX, the ATOTO's DSP granularity is deeper out of the box. Here's what nobody tells you. The default loudness and bass enhancements can smear the mid-range. Turn those off, start flat, set time delays by distance, and it wakes up. Connectivity, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto work, but plan for the occasional reconnect if your city is RF noisy. Dual Bluetooth is genuinely useful. Phone on BT1, OBDI scanner or TPMS on BT2. Wi-Fi on 2.4 and 5 GHz kept app downloads quick. The 4G radio is convenient if your phone hotspot is clunky, but check your carrier bands before assuming it will work. The external mic was mandatory. The internal mic picked up cabin noise at speed. Display and UI. The 1280x720 panel makes maps and album art crisp. QLED's color saturation looks great at night. Daytime glare can be a nuisance. A matte screen protector helped a lot. UI responsiveness is better than most Android units in this price, but not as consistent as a high-end Alpine. Quick boot is legit from short stops. Cold boot is a half-minute reality. Installation and build. Harness labeling is clear. CAN integration worked in my test car with the right adapter, and steering wheel controls learned quickly. The chassis feels solid. One catch, the floating 10.1 option can block vents or buttons in tighter dashes. Measure twice. RCA outputs are clean, but I'd route grounds carefully. Some users report alternator whine if the ground path isn't ideal. User feedback themes I kept seeing. Pros, feature density, DSP flexibility, value versus. Name brands, frequent firmware updates. Cons, occasional wireless dropouts, average radio tuner, glare, learning curve on DSP, carrier limitations for 4G, what the marketing doesn't mention. If you stack wireless connections, phone tether, CarPlay, Bluetooth accessories, you're playing tech roulette in busy RF environments. Wired mode ends the drama. Verdict, recommended for tinkerers and value hunters with a caution. If you want maximum features, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, deep DSP, HD screen, and flexible connectivity, for a price that usually lands in the mid-400s to mid-500s depending on size and options, the S8 Ultra punches above its weight. Pros, feature set per dollar, DSP power, frequent updates, dual Bluetooth. Cons, cold boot time, occasional wireless instability, average FM tuner, glare, and 4G band caveats. Save your money for a higher-end Alpine or Pioneer if you demand bulletproof wireless and the best radio reception. Otherwise, buy this and plan to spend an hour tuning the DSP and tidying your install. Stay savvy out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Drop your questions below, especially if you're pairing amps or need help with glare fixes. Next up, I'm comparing this to the Sony XAV-AX6000 to see which actually wins for wireless stability. Catch you in the next one.